Losing a finger, foot, or leg is one of the greatest fears among people with diabetes, a disease that, according to INEGI statistics, affects more than 10% of the population in Mexico. Good evening. We're Team 1, and this is our proposal for the Prosthetic Import Challenge. These are the topics we're going to address in our presentation, beginning with a general overview of the company and finishing with the logistics for the product to its arrival to Mexico. We'd like to start by introducing some information about our training partner. Tecnologias para la Comunidad is an organization dedicated to the design, manufacture, and distribution of low-cost assistive technology solutions and rehabilitation services to vulnerable communities. It is estimated that 80% of toe, foot, or leg amputations in Mexico are caused by type 2 diabetes. According to data from 2015 of the National Academy of Medicine, there are 75,000 people with amputations and only 10% have prostheses, of which only 7% know how to use it. This represents a serious problem of public health and quality of life in Mexico. The association has 3 programs: One Step Forward, First Steps, and Taxi. These provide a comprehensive service to help the patients to achieve autonomy with medical, psychological, and transportation assistance. The products the association offers and is also looking for are transtibial prostheses, which are for patients with amputations below the knee, and transfemoral prostheses for amputations above the knee.
Moving on to the challenge. We aim to generate a handbook for importing prostheses for the organization, as well as finding suppliers that are also strategic partners. It is important to gather all the information about the requirements and restrictions to complete the import as smoothly as possible. Based on information provided by the association, we base on a budget for the transtibial prostheses below 15,000 Mexican pesos and for the transfemoral prostheses below 35,000 Mexican pesos. Let's focus on the tariff classification. This is a tariff code or harmonized system code we use for the prostheses we will be importing. It is important to mention that this code is recognized internationally. It explains a wide range of products, and it is the one we chose to focus on because it is the one that fits the product characteristics the best. As we can see, according to CIAVI, Sistema de Información Arancelaria via Internet, we are exempt from paying any import duty. However, we still have to pay the VAT. The only restriction we will have would be the authorization from COFEPRIS for the different parts of the prosthetics.
Now, for the non-tariff restrictions. It is important to consider that to import these products, they must comply with the COFEPRIS sanitary permit to import medical devices that have a sanitary restriction. The requirements needed are these ones shown in the slide. Besides, it is important to consider the recent changes in the new miscelánea fiscal. These are the basic import requirements we need to know before trying to bring any product into Mexico. The slide is pretty self-explanatory. However, there are some things we need to look into, such as the price of hiring a customs broker and complying with regulations and restrictions. Now, which is the supplier we selected? These are the main characteristics we looked for in our suppliers. It is important to mention that they were key for picking not only the best supplier, but the best strategic partner for Tecnologías para la Comunidad. Some relevant information in our decisions were the import of this HS code for January to June of this year. We were looking for one country of these different regions. For each country, we researched for the value of the imports in US dollars, as well as its equivalent in kilograms.
When doing our research, we compared 3 potential suppliers of the countries already mentioned. The suppliers were Autobock, Fashion Rehabs, and Shijiazhuang, also International Trade Co. Here we have the chart that helped us during the final selection process. The criteria we used is on the left corner. I will proceed now to explain each of them. For the quality versus price, we considered whether the quality looked fine or not, and if the product fitted into the budget we were provided with. For location, we considered treaties we have with the origin country. Export and logistics are pretty self-explanatory, as well as production, MOQ, and lead time. For the buying process, we considered the forms of payment and whether we were provided with the characteristics of the product before purchasing or not. And finally, for reliability, we considered pictures of the premises, mainly the factory. Now, with all this said, it is clear that the best option as a strategic partner for Tecnologías para la Comunidad is our Chinese supplier, Shijiazhuang, also International Trade Co., since it complies with most of the characteristics we needed in a supplier. Nevertheless, we are still working on getting the total cost of ownership. As you can see, Autobock also complies with most of the characteristics. However, it is still missing fitting to the most relevant one, the budget. Based on the previous chart, we will focus on the Chinese supplier we already mentioned. A little background information as a country, Mexico is China's second trade partner globally since 2003. Ever since then, commerce between the both countries has grown. Here we have the product and its qualities. It is a transfemoral prosthesis made out of stainless steel. On the right corner, we have the price, and we can see that for the quality of the product, the price looks quite reasonable. and it fits into the budget perfectly. It is important to mention that the price may vary a little depending on the exchange rate because the transaction will be made in US dollars. However, even with the variation, the product is not likely to exceed these numbers significantly.
These are the pros and cons of this supplier. Amongst the multiple pros of the most relevant ones to look at are that this supplier is manufacturer and exporter. Also, it manages a refund policy if the quality of the product is not the one as promised. The biggest pro is reliability that we can notice based on the information provided to us about the premises and the functionality of the product, as well as certifications, which we will further get into. As for the cons, clearly the distance in terms of cost and represents an issue. However, we can mitigate this with Incoterms. And actually, the supplier offers many options for this. We have also a language barrier. However, it is easy to mitigate this one, carrying out the transaction in English. Even their webpage offers multiple languages.
The company also provides a copy of their certifications, for example, the ISO 9001, which is the international standard for quality management systems, endorsed by the Global Certifying Organization, NQA, and the IAF. In the next slide, we have more certifications, such as the company's certification of registration, and we even have their export license number, certified by the FDA.
It is also a verified supplier in the Alibaba platform, which is a Chinese multinational technology company with sales services via web portals, which only certifies reliable companies. The webpage offers pictures of the packages and their domestic transportation, as you can see in the slide. We also have the measurements of the box and its gross weight, this meaning that the weight of the box and the products are being considered. It also offers pictures of the facilities, their workers, materials, etc. This was key for our supplier selection process, since we needed pictures as proof of their premises quality.
As for logistics, here we have the criteria we consider for our logistics quotation. This information is key for getting a proper quotation because depending on the quantity, measurements, value of the product, and mean of transport, this quote can get cheaper or more expensive. Talking about Incoterms, well, first of all, we need to understand what they are. Incoterms are international rules made for transactions so that buyers and sellers can know their obligations. There are 11 of them. In this case, we will be using DAP, delivery at place, meaning that the seller bears all of the costs and risks until the arrival at the destination prior customs clearance. This is the route the cargo would take, leaving from Shijiazhuang, China, and arriving to Guadalajara. We have two quotations. The first one was provided to us by the supplier, and the second one was with Kuehne+Nagel, a 3PL company. The transit time would be around 10 to 14 days, and here we have the prices in US dollars and in Mexican pesos. Based on this, we can clearly see that the best option is the first one, DHL, regarding price and experience with the supplier.
Okay, so after all this information, we can conclude that our supplier is Chinese. The most convenient Incoterm for this process is DAP. However, we can adjust it depending on everyone's needs. Nevertheless, we recommend to hire a 3PL, third-party logistics company to take care of all the logistic processes such as the DHL, which is a strategic partner of the supplier chose. This makes the relationship between supplier, 3PL, and Tecnologias para la Comunidad much easier. Also, we recommend to have a customs broker, a person who is officially in charge of carrying out all the import process as well as documentation in the customs. We are really looking forward to keep working with Tecnologias para la Comunidad. Thank you very much for your attention. For any further questions, please contact any member of our team.